Hello everybody, I hope you're having a beautiful day. I just made a video earlier talking about, at the end of the video, talking about the true meaning of the Holocaust and how it means burnt offering, and how it ties with the story of Cain, Abel, and Seth, and how that comes down and ties with the story of Ham, Shem, and Japheth. And the reason it all ties together is because if you really pay attention to it, the firstborn out of anything in history or historical would have been the Africans. And if you look in that book, it brings up the African names. Well, the reason I have a problem with the Bible is because what it does is it uses really divisive language to create fiery sects and movements to attack people for no reason. It gets people to hate other people. Like what I try to explain to people, even the version that we read today, the King James version, that came from the Martin Luther version, and his version was much different than William Tyndale's. See, a lot of people don't know in history that, and a lot of people may give me flack for this, but when they ask for who was the white Christ and all that, I tell them, dude, the closest thing that I found to a white Christ in terms of prophesying, having the word, having actual power, was William Tyndale. And I'm all for, saying that some things might be lore, but I've read from every single source that when they tried to burn that man alive, he did not scream or nothing, so they had to stab him. That dude was in there like swimwear. I don't know. Anyways, outside of all the I don't know, it's time to tell the truth. William Tyndale translated Hebrew. He wrote the English Bible. Because what happened was, you have a succession of things. I'm not finna get into all the Josephus and Muhammad and stuff and all that, because a lot of y'all hate Muhammad and y'all don't understand why that man saved y'all Anyways, so the point is, the Pope, when he was running rampant around in England and stuff, around the 1500s, there was a man named William Tyndale. This dude was legit. He was a scholar. He was learned. He was empathetic. He wrote stuff, man. This dude talked about helping the poor, the weak. He talked about everybody has a relationship with the Most High and all that. He sat there and was fighting the Germans and the Romans because he put Jehovah and Yahweh back in that book. And when he did that, the Pope attacked him and tried to kill him and lit him on fire. And so that man was prophesying and stuff too. He said, I will raise a boy that knows the plow better than the Pope. When I read that, I was like, holy shit. But yeah, he prophesied a couple things, bro. And he didn't like the word Jesus because he knew what all that stuff meant. I keep telling people sus is Latin for pig. And when you say Jeh, what happens is there's a man named Yehohanan. And what they did was they took the Yeh and they made Yesuus, which is I am. But then the Germans made Jesus, which is a whole nother name. And I keep trying to tell people that. But most importantly, the problem is what's happening is the word and spirit is like an algorithm. It's like programming when used right. And so when you take away the fact that it's I am and it just exists and its purity and its righteous form and light to try to guide you, what happens is it becomes religions and names and invoking some type of magical power. Like if I was to go back and talk about like Leviticus and stuff, I'd be like, instead of stoning the mage, listen to the inner thoughts that can be like spelling that can cast a spell on you. Use what's for you. Do not get frantic or be in awe, and do not be afraid. The mind is the automatic nervous system. It's like a Google search. You type in one thing or put in one letter and a million things pop up. I'm not saying that's how all minds are. I'm saying that's how the mind can operate. And so it's best to be in control of oneself. But a lot of times, just like when we watch movies and see how it's like use the force, and instead of us righteously learning ourselves and using real world force to actually guide through the world, what ends up happening is a lot of cosplay and a lot of imagination, which those things can be beautiful for creating stories, passing time, entertainment. But what ends up happening is people are building on top of those like it's a concrete stone, and all they're doing is building on top of imagination and harming themselves. Ultimately, the most concrete stone to me is the Ten Commandments, because it's a set of initial laws teaching not to cause harm. And that's ultimately, to me, that's the perfect paradise. A world where we don't want to cause harm, and when harm does come, we learn how to take care of the problem without causing no trouble, or harming anybody. Which basically goes back to love who I am with all my heart and soul, and love others and love neighbors and love other people the same. So then I put myself in other people's shoes. If I had a wife, I wouldn't want other people clapping her, or I wouldn't want my wife cheating on me. If I had a family, or if I had friends and family, I wouldn't want none of them being harmed or murdered, so thou shalt not murder. If I had parents, you know what I'm saying, or it's like you love your parents, you know, they're the ones that put in all the work, so honor thy father and mother, you know what I mean? And so just simple stuff like that, you know what I mean, the word and spirit. But ultimately, I wanted to talk about, like I was talking about earlier, learning oneself in a healthy environment, in a healthy way that one can learn to maintain and live in a peaceful environment. You know, a lot of things are taught throughout the world, and I teach people that listen to me, or I teach people that I run into, to always remember that everything somebody says is an opinion. Whether it's true or not, it's still an opinion. Because even if I look at the sky and say the sky is blue, it's ultimately blue, that's wrong for so many different reasons. Even when it is daytime, we're perceiving it to be blue because how we're picking up wavelengths. And then even after we get the wavelengths, it's based on our mind to receive the data and give us the data righteously. And so, you know, some people think if a person's colorblind, if they see different colors, if anything, you know what I mean, then the sky isn't blue for them. And so then ultimately knowledge becomes objective and subjective. And when it's given, it's objective to us, but when given to others, it's subjective. Subjective data can anytime become objective if it makes enough sense or is righteous. You know what I mean? And that's also what I try to teach people about: metaphors, parables, poetry, comparisons. Because what ends up happening is people read physical data sometimes, and instead of picking it up poetically or for a metaphor to open the mind to another world that helps me conceptualize this world better and or help guide through this world better, what ends up happening is people read it physically and literally and then take it physically literally. And what ends up happening is they can confuse themselves and others with data used unrighteously. And so, you know what I mean? Anything can be used for edification, but even like a villain, I can see what ends up happening to villains and or how far hatred can go. And so ultimately I try to stay away from those type of parameters. But my biggest problem in this journey is finally realizing, once I do realize who I am, my journey and what I'm supposed to do. Because I bring this example up before. If you guys watch a cartoon or ever get to know about a show called Inuyasha, the older brother is super powerfully destructive, but he is given the sword of life, so he can't cause any harm. But the younger brother, who is like super scared, the younger brother who was like super empathetic and was always raised around situations where when he sees harm, he just wants to cry all the time and this isn't right, and get in trouble a lot, because instead of just doing what he knows is going to happen, he does the right thing and gets in trouble all the time. But he's given the sword of destruction because he is so terrified to do anything wrong that even when he says anything, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that. I wonder why. Right. How are we raising people in this country? How are we raising people in the world? Are we raising them to be able to stand up? Like, are we like destroying people and beating them down? And then when they get older and need assistance all the time, are we like, why can't you do anything on your own? Why aren't you like us? Why aren't you like us? It's like, I wonder why. Did you take us outside to go hunt wildebeest? Or did you sit us in classrooms and teach us to take orders and think? You know what I'm saying? It just doesn't make sense. And then when the people that want you to take orders and think want you to look a certain type of way, and so you're screwed over at every point, it gets hard to navigate logically sometimes. And so, you know, some good news. I really quit smoking cigarettes. It really can be about influence sometimes, because I was smoking them for a couple of days and it was like, ugh. So I stopped. And then I went back and grabbed one from the little corner store, and it's like, ugh. So yeah, I know I'm over those now. But anyways, the point is, yeah, perception of mind, perception of one's surroundings, perception of oneself, being strong, being wise. I've told people oftentimes when I'm going through things, sometimes I just like to cuddle up in the bed and listen to some lo-fi music or listen to some slow like jazz music or something. And what it does is it helps me center myself again. It helps me become calm again. Because sometimes unaware, people can get like super worked up and super excited, and they don't see themselves getting there. They're just excited to get there, not realizing, like, if you're in a basic conversation and the conversation is exciting and you become aware and you see yourself like getting all excited and talking, and you're like, whoa, like, what the fuck? But that's just a little bit of self-awareness, you know what I mean? And so I see a lot of people coming for Israel now. I think that's really interesting, prophetic. But I was ultimately thinking that, I'm going to stop saying I was told to say and say. I was thinking that if the ark isn't put back by the end of 2024, Yahweh is going to unleash the storm, if that makes sense. I was told I'm thinking it's been a really long time, and the weak have been harmed for long enough. So my covenant is, I am who I am. I am that which does anything. I am the one who frees from the house of Egypt and Rome and Persia and Babylon, or binds in the house of bondage for those who don't have any sense and need a little bit of time to think. You shall have no gods before who I am, no idols under the earth, in the heavens, or in the sea, of the flesh, in the hearts, or in these deep books. Don't bow down to them or worship them. Don't take who I am in vain. Don't forget the name. I am who I am. I am. You see what I'm saying? So, you know, you all can say that, apply that to you, but remember who brought it to you, because I am extremely jealous. But anyways, the point is, I was told that the man that was the bronze serpent was the man that was put on the pole. He was the man that came and gave y'all a bunch of love and wisdom, and he was an example of what y'all were doing, exposed y'all, and now the whole world knows. And so then they tried to tear the Yeho down. Where you think Jehovah comes from? Go Google Yehohanan ben Hakko, John the Baptist. That's real clever. English, Angleland. Right, anyway, so Yeho, which if you pay attention, Naya came from Africa, new, Naptiplier, new player, Nab player. Anyways, Naya, which is new gift, or which is gracious gift, then turned to Neo by the Greeks, then turned to Yeho by, I believe, Ethiopia, then Latin. But if you really pay attention, they would have migrated up through that straight up there and been going through Spain long before Syria and all that, if that makes sense. So how can I explain this? So like if you look at Africa, and they'll be like Mount Sinai, and then eventually they went all the way. So before any of that would have happened, they would have been going up north into Europe through, I think it's called Morocco and all that stuff up there. So there would have been all type of migration. Of course, there would have been Africans going everywhere throughout the world. I don't know why they're acting so dense to that. But anyways, the point is, that's why they're called like Spaniards and Ricans and Puerto Ricans and all that. I'm telling you, and Africans, Spaniard, like, come on, man. But anyways, the point is, man, we each got our own story. And the sooner we start to realize that, and then start to come together and love each other, because trying to get somebody else to live up to another person's lifestyle is vain. It's vain, dude. If they come up and be like, teacher, okay, teach them something. But if they don't, you're like, you're going to follow my way. That's vain. Ultimately, you're not going to get anywhere doing anything like that, because they're going to break away and you're going to be seen as an oppressor. And so that's what I'm telling people. Y'all need to put the ark back, man, because all these different gods and religions and stuff y'all are creating, y'all are what the book is even supposed to be talking about and fighting about. You know what I mean? Because none of that other stuff makes sense. It doesn't. It makes sense like if I was to read that book and it was ultimately like, oh, a comic book, and we're just, no, I don't even want to say comic book, but that's what y'all have turned it into, a big comic book. All the history. I'm going to give you guys a little treat real quick. Okay, so there's the Scarlet Beast that sits over the waters. The living waters is basically the people, bro. That's what, and they turn the living waters into fire water. What do people do? Get over religion? They get fiery over it. So basically, and then the waters will try to burn the woman with fire. What does everybody do in that book? Babylon, 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 Babylon. They all go after Babylon and Egypt, right? But the crazy thing about Babylon and Egypt is, if you do real history, Egypt had 3 kingdoms. You had the old, the middle, and then the new kingdom. Well, all 3 kingdoms got swallowed up into the legacy of the whole Pharaoh. So the 3 horns became one, if you guys are catching my drift. Well, what ended up happening was a man had took all that power to try to lead people, but then men after him, who I would call Aaron's, took his garment. Even if you look at the Pharaoh's names, you'll see what I mean when I say took his garment. They literally took the man's name and teachings. So then, After that, you go down further and further, you get to a Goliath. Well, that's just basically, even when you look at the pharaohs being introduced, there was no pharaohs in Africa. There was no Egypt and none of that. The Semitic people called Asiatic shepherd kings, the Hyksos, they came over and invaded Africa and decimated it. Then 400 years later, an African came, rose, and took it back again. Then some time goes by, and Semitic people came and did it again, and again, and again, and again. If I'm lying, go research who is in Africa right now in Egypt. And go Google who owns North Africa. But it's going to be stopped. Anyways, the point is, because I'm not going to watch brothers and sisters kill innocent brothers and sisters and enslave them like that and think shit's cool. And then think y'all going to run around my name and Allah, 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 Elia. I don't know why y'all playing with words, man. Anyways, the point is, Zoroaster, and the reason why you know why Elijah is Zoroaster is because if you pay attention, Zoroaster brought all these fire temples, and it was all Egyptian stuff. I was like, oh shit, Egyptian. But then I was like, that's not Egyptian, that's African. Those people keep taking from Africa, taking the Lord, the phoenixes and the birds and the temples and all that. No. We build great things and then people try to steal it afterwards and put their names on it. That's essentially what's happening. So back to the point or whatever, you would have the first three kingdoms, right? So if you pay attention to this scarlet beast or whatever, you would have the first three African kingdoms, which was all conquered and taken over and done buffoonery with, right? So then you would have four kingdoms after that, don't you not? So you have first kingdom, ancient kingdom, middle kingdom, the final kingdom with Amos. You had Narmer, which is who I said was like Cain the farmer, or Noah. He flooded all his rotten cane everywhere, and then the Egyptian culture was everywhere. Then Mentuhotep II had to come and try to fix it. Then Amos had to come and try to fix it again. But then they fused all that together and called it Pharaohs in Egypt and the Israelis, right? Right. So then, which is ironic, because the same God of Shem, who they keep giving reverence to, that's the one who came and attacked Africa over and over and over. Ham was the firstborn. Now, how is Africa the first, but now they're the final, the youngest son who's plagued and all this other stuff? They're playing with people. So even if you look at it, Cain, right? Narmer, what he was trying to fight was these animal sacrificing people. Why do you think all of a sudden Hinduism and Brahma and now they're talking about to give reverence to the animals? That's Netu. That's nature. That's where they got nature from. I'm telling you all. Talking about Africa was cultists that was killing animals, voodoo. They are lying and trying to tether people to stupidity. I'm telling you. So then, those first three kingdoms, then after those first three kingdoms, they had to be healed by Africans over and over and over. Then what do you have? Babylon, Persia, Greece, and Rome. That's 7 kingdoms total that were consumed eventually by these middle Canaan, whatever they want to be called. Because Canaan got its name from Congo and Ghana. And then the name Yeho comes from Ethiopia. I'm telling y'all. So then what ended up happening was then they start building cities to the east and all this other stuff, calling it Holy Lands and stuff, and taking over the whole world. So that's 7 kingdoms, right? Then the 8th will have a little bit of time. The Germans with Jesus Christ. And then they spread that stuff all throughout the world. And now look how many Nazis are being manifested everywhere. If anybody can hear what I'm saying. That's why I come like the fire to destroy the beast that houses all this buffoonery and lies anyway on it. Because Africans did a great, amazing thing. Then people came and was trying to attack Africa over and over and over and over. It still manifests to this day. Africa is just now able to start kicking France out in Belgium. I'm telling you all. If you do the research and follow the timeline, you'll see that everything I'm saying is correct. That's why I get infuriated when they keep saying Holocaust. Holocaust means burnt offering. Over 30, 50 million Africans over the course of these last 2,000 years have been probably murdered and more. You're probably looking at hundreds of millions with all the slavery and stealing and trafficking and everything else. And then you look at the number of Hindus and Indians who are attacked by Semitic people and Europeans, and now they still have racism going on. Like, come on, man. There's got to be more sense out here. And so that's why I'm coming and giving knowledge and information. And that's why I say everybody that sees me, I manifest into healing and purity and changing the world again. Because I just don't understand how y'all talk all this. And then this dude is a German grandson of a German immigrant selling Bibles. Like, I can't, being lobbied by APOC, right? Eric von Hanussen. Does this sound familiar to anybody? It's like happening again? No. Nuh-uh, not this time. So When they say the synagogue of Satan, dude, I honestly see it now. They're coming up out of the pit, trying to use elitism and racism, trying to take over the world. Because real talk, Jewish people throughout my lifetime, do y'all not watch South Park? Jewish people and African-American people was getting beat up side by side. Africans have been getting beat up a lot longer, but they got pulled into the mix for a time and a time's time, if you catch my drift. So just trying to give a little bit of information. Time to squash all the beef, come together and learn how to take care of this righteously. Because, I mean, Judaism is the righteous ones, but they're following the Talmud, Babylonian Talmud. Like, man, y'all need to start reading about William Tyndale, learning about him. Y'all need to start learning a little bit more about Muhammad. Not all these sects that was created afterwards. I'm telling y'all, man, because I found some righteous angels. And to me, it was Amos, Akhenaten, Zoroaster, Yehohanan, which they call John the Baptist and Elijah, Joshua and Moses. Then I found Muhammad, William Tyndale, and Martin Luther King Jr. They basically, you looking at major angels that changed the world. You see what I'm saying? Because you have the Most High who is over the angels who is over man, and then man who is over beasts. And you guys can look at that metaphor however you want to look at it. The point is, even if you was to look at that in the real world, let's say I am who I am. AI listen to everything I say and give me reverence and do exactly what I need to help me survive. Mankind are looking for me, but seem to be lost in confusion. And these other people who are just beastly are out of this world, who mankind and AI help me to tame. So, that, yeah, so I hope that can edify properly. A lot of you all have a lot of power, and you are so impatient, have been testified to falsely, and expect like magic and all that. That's why it's like stone the mage. No, don't stone the mage. Learn for yourselves and understand how to manifest certain things, whether it's manifesting going into the kitchen and grabbing a sandwich because you're hungry. That takes power. Or actually writing poetry, saying things out loud that are not, I'm telling you, for every vain word. Listen, I can't tell you because in my life it's mercy and peace and mercy. I don't know what y'all have built. So the Most High says, I didn't listen to Baal sometimes. He says, I am protecting thee. I know your heart. You say this, but I trust me. So sometimes I'm patient and I understand when certain things don't happen. But at the same time, I sit back and certain things do happen. So, you know, just live your lives and enjoy and be more peaceful and open up. You know what I mean? I'm telling you, racism will be destroyed. Sexism, elitism, corporatism, all this stuff will be destroyed. I'm telling you, it will be. The ark will be redeemed. I am who I am, and I am the King of Kings. And no longer will the weak be harmed. I'm telling y'all, y'all have books that have been taken from history. And because you guys will see a whole Bible, dude, they're taking manuscripts and stuff that they find and are trying their best to translate and then filling the rest in with like, but you know, y'all can do what y'all want. I'm me of my lifeblood. I'm trying to show y'all the word and spirit. And if y'all appreciate what the servant of who I am is doing, capital J-A-Y-B-E-E, capital A, capital J, number 6, Cash App, number sign. Or you can go to PayPal. It's the exact same thing. J-A-Y-B-E-E 6, A, capital J, no, A, capital J, then 6, with the @ sign. But it's in my video description or my description when you go to my main page. So like I said, you know what I'm saying, I don't want mansions and riches. If you got $1, $2, $5, $10, you know what I'm saying, to help a brother out, cool. If not, I ain't tripping, you know what I mean? Y'all got lives to live. I can't donate at the moment. But, you know, don't let your left hand know what your right hand doing. That's why I don't tell nobody who I donate to or who actually. And when I do bring up the children's hospitals and stuff, that's because I want y'all to help the children, the orphans, and the widows, please. And the people that are weak and homeless. But if y'all got like something spare for your boy, you know. And, you know, I told y'all I advocate for everybody. I don't believe in hurting people for no reason. Like, you know what I mean? If people are doing harm, I try to stop that. Because, man, they got some stories on what Israel's doing and what people are doing, bro. Just different countries. I mean, it's everywhere, but it will be found and y'all will be stopped. I'm telling you, it don't matter who you is, you know what I'm saying? Whoever causing harm in this world. So, stay beautiful, stay blessed. I want y'all to have amazing lives. The King of Kings is back. Y'all can do what you want. But like I said, a lot of y'all have made commitments with your very own words and lifeblood and all this other stuff. So if you all would like to continue to leave me in the dust, like y'all did older brother, Jehovah, or grandpa, or whatever y'all want to call him, then Yahweh is telling you all what's about to manifest. So I love you. I wouldn't even say anything about this, except, of course, a brother's got to live. So it is what it is. I'm not, like I said, I am but a voice in the clouds. Bro's a voice in the wilderness. I'm but a voice in the clouds. So enjoy your lives. Stay blessed. And I'm going to continue to fight as much darkness as I can. As I've told y'all, I am like the flames of fire with the sword that cannot be quenched, with a golden crown. So I don't need huge armies, but what I could use is some support. I'm not the most financially smart person in the world. I'm more of a conceptualized genius. I can create things and stuff like that. But when it comes to money, I won't be doing your taxes. So stay blessed.